making some washers for I'm just making some mounts actually for this dividing of head I got. And finally, I'm going to see if I can duplicate it. Got this parting to work the way I'd like it to. Let's see if it'll work on. Honestly, for me, that's freaking awesome. I've been having a lot of trouble with parting lately. In fact, I'm probably going to have to scrap that whole pulley at some point because of all the issues I've had parting, jamming it up, basically reaming it out, that's making it turn on the spindle. So this is amazing, and this is steel too. That was aluminum I was messing with. Only reason I don't have I know I got a lot of overhang there, but this piece of stock is too big for my spindle. So this is about as close as I can get it. Actually, before I finish it, I'm going to go ahead and take my file out and file these edges here. So I'll be right back. Alright, so it's filed. The reason I didn't reason I filed it rather than shaped it, put a chamfer on it, is that I didn't want to move my setup. I got this thing locked in the way I like it, so there's that. Plus I need as much flat surface as I can possibly get. This is to lock down something on a mill. So anyway, just going to put it in the back gear again. Yeah, it's a little warm. So, it's obviously going to take some cleaning up right there. But that's just so much better than I've been doing here lately. I've been getting really frustrated with parting, so that's cool. Some news, this lathe is going up for sale. I actually have it on Craigslist right now. I'm buying a 12-inch Atlas that's got, excuse me, it's got quick change for threading. Also comes with a nice 4-jaw, so that's a big deal for me. I didn't want to go with another Atlas. I wanted to step up, but price was right. And I mean, it won't be the last lathe I own, but it's a nice upgrade from what I got right now. So that's what's going to happen. This is my first time using a boring bar, and it's been going pretty well so far. I just got this from my friend Zach. It's an actual Bridgeport. And he sold to me with a shop-made extension that slides over this really nicely. nice piece of work, whoever did it. So it's got 3/8. It takes 3/8 boring bars, and he gave me a high-speed steel one to get started with, and it's been doing great with this aluminum. And I'll order me a cheap set of carbide ones too to go with it. Anyway, I've been I worked my way up. Started really conservative, and maybe I'm still being conservative, but I'm doing a full rotation, which is 50 thousandths total, so 25 aside. And I'm using the middle feed range, 3 thousandths per rotation, I think it is. It's the number 3 on the dial over here. I think that's what it stands for. Not bad. I'm making a tool holder to be a cheap tool post grinder. We'll see how that all works. Not bad. So I started taking measurements because I'm getting close to my mark, and I'm dialing in 50 thousandths each time. You can see exactly 50 thousandths on my indicated measurement. Well, indicated using one of these guys. Exactly 50, 48, and back to like 52. So I mean, I think that's well within my error of using this thing. So I'm pretty darn pleased. 4 cuts, 200 thousandths off. Or wait a second, hold on. 1, 2, 3. 3 cuts, 150 thousandths off. Exactly like it's supposed to be. Pretty good. American. Alright, a little test fit. My tool in the holder. That's a pretty snug fit. So I'm going to cut a slit in here to put a tightening bolt here. What else did I have to do? Yeah, that's about it. Just clean the edges, and I'll be ready to try it out. Alright, so this is my latest little project on the mill here. It actually goes along with other projects because it's actually a tool holder. And you can see a lot of evidence of, I'm definitely learning. Horrible finish right here. The difference between this finish and this finish is this one I snuck up on. I made my first pass within a couple tenths. Then I came back and nice and smoothed it out. This one I tried to do the finish in one cut. I just wasn't thinking. It's just one of those things that comes with experience, and I'm gaining my experience right now. I needed this to be a half. I only had a piece of 3/4 plate, so what I did was I routed it all out here. I got to use my boring bar that I just bought. It's pretty cool. Old Bridgeport #1. Like it a lot. Probably show that to you later. Anyway, so I did that from this side, flipped it over, and then faced it off so that this basically just dropped out. And all this imperfection here, attributable to several different things. I think I need to tilt my head a degree or two, and I can probably use the face mill to dial that in, because you can tell when you're feeding in, if you're cutting on one edge more than the other, it becomes apparent. You'll see it digging in and then not, or you'll see it the opposite. Basically, the trailing edge when you're feeding really shouldn't be cutting anything if it's if everything's dialed in correctly. So I think I got an adjustment there, and I think also there was my work holding involved in that. But But anyway, coming along, and I don't know. Another thing I really can't figure out. I started off with this thing clamped this way. This is my end mill that I use to cut this slot. It doesn't go deep enough. So I did it on the one side, clamped here. The reason I didn't clamp here is I didn't want to be putting compression here. So I clamped here, ran it in as deep as I could, flipped it over, I usually use a little piece of copper wire against the back jaw, and then this is always against the fixed jaw. So I flipped it over, clamped it up, ran it down, and this was off, this distance here. And I can't figure out how in the heck that happened. I had to redial it in, and you can still see if the light hits it right. You know, it's not perfect. It's off a little bit. There you go. You can see right there. Does it show up in the light? So, you know, that is a mystery to me. I'm racking my brain. I mean, unless this thing is way off, which I don't believe it is. I indicated that pretty well. Even if I bumped the handle, I had the table locked. So that's a mystery to me. Anyway, I'll show you in a second what this thing does. Alright, starting to make a little more sense now. Some of you probably already guessed what this was. There we go. Now all I have to do is find my little bolt that I lost. I just had about 2 seconds ago. So I'll be back. Okay, found it. Alright, and this is going to be a moment of truth. I don't know whether this is going to flex the way I want it to and actually tighten down. Oh yeah. She's in there. Alright, well that's a win. I wound up making myself a plate. Just a little bit left to go in one jaw. Now this is the moment of truth. Now whether this is all a waste of time or not. That's my plate I made. I usually don't use air on the lathe, but with all this dust, alright, let's see what we got here. I hate this chuck too. I gotta make a better one. This isn't drill rod or anything, but it's enough to give me an indication. Still has run out. That's an improvement over the way it was, but it still is nothing great. I think it's going to be about the best it's going to get, though. That's bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thousandths. I don't know. I think actually, I mean, this is not, nor was it ever advertised as a precision chuck. I think the brand new Chinese ones are guaranteed like 3 thousandths. So I got 5 going right there. I think I'm just going to have to be happy with that. Not ecstatic, but it's better than it was.